Hi everyone, it's Maggie. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by to see me today. Whether you've been here before or you're brand new, I appreciate you coming by very, very much. I hope if you enjoy this video that you will like and subscribe. It means an awful lot to me. I surely would appreciate it. And leave a comment if you have the time or so inclined. I know I never was one to comment on videos. And I wasn't even one, even if I enjoyed them, to like them very often. I don't know, I just kind of didn't think about it. And before I even started this channel, I became kind of, you know, how you can become friends with other creators. And of course, I was not a YouTube creator at that time. But, you know, we became friends and you know, I would lend her support, and, you know, she would respond in such a nice way that I really appreciated her. I still appreciate her. And it was about that time that I really started liking and commenting, and I began to realize what it really meant to the person that was giving the video or doing the video. So I've tried to become very very disciplined about doing that, because I know it means so much. I knew from a secondhand or outsider's viewpoint looking in, but now that I'm doing it myself, I, you know why people appreciate it so much. So anyway, thank you very much for any input you can give me. I appreciate it so much. All right, so today we need to get some work done in this Paris journal. I was thinking about this last night and early this morning, and I think I failed in my in what I wanted to do with this journal as far as y'all were concerned. I really wanted it to be to kind of take you, I mean, I don't know who's watching me, of course, what your life experiences are or your travel experiences, or whether you're in a position to travel or not travel. I certainly am not really in a position to travel. You know, I don't have the funds to support that really on a regular basis. But the trip that my daughter and I made to Europe, and Paris, of course, was our first stop and our last stop in our trip, was a delightful experience for both of us. It's something that I always wanted to do, but I never thought that I would be able to do. And somehow we managed to do it. My daughter planned the whole trip, and she did all the driving while we were there. We just had such a wonderful experience and made so many wonderful memories. So I really want to convey that to you more. I want to share it with you. And I think I have failed to do that overall. Paris was a beautiful city, so much history and so many wonderful things to see and to do. And we did hit a lot of the high spots. One of our favorite places, and it's not really in Paris, but just on the outskirts of Paris, is the Palace of Versailles. And if you know anything about Marie Antoinette, you'll know that that's where she lived. And that site has so much history, so old, ancient history, not ancient, but, you know, it goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, and how it was developed by the different kings and Marie Antoinette's influence over it. It's a beautiful, beautiful place to visit, and so many beautiful and wonderful things to see. The gardens alone are so unbelievably beautiful. So I really, in making this journal, I kind of wanted to share those experiences with you, and I know I haven't done a very good job, so I'm very sorry about that. But today I do want to try to take you to one place, excuse me, that we visited that I almost didn't take part in, but I decided to because I didn't want to miss it. So my daughter said, excuse me, sorry about that interruption. I almost didn't participate in this activity, but I decided to at the last minute, and so I'm just going to do it. I didn't think I could do it because I was having some problems with one of my hips, and but I said, I'm going to do it. I may never be here again, and I've got to see for myself what this is all about. And it's the Catacombs of Paris. Now, I had never heard of them before, and maybe you have and maybe you haven't. But, and you probably know that a catacomb is anything, anywhere where bodies are buried under, kind of subterranean, underground. And the Catacombs of Paris date back to, I believe, I read it was 1776. They were having quite an outbreak of different diseases. All the cemeteries were overflowing. They had way too many people buried in them, and the bodies were not buried correctly, and so it was creating a very hazardous situation for the living inhabitants of Paris. So they decided to start taking these bodies, these people that were buried, and taking them underground and building these passageways lined with graves. And what they did was they stacked the bones, and it's lit so you can see it. I mean, it's a long walk down to get there. It just kind of gradually takes you down, 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 down. And it's lit by lights here and there. It's not brightly lit, but it is lit so you can see where you're going. And once you get to the actual burial site, there's a little bit more lighting, and you can see. And I was astonished. I was absolutely astonished as I walked through there and saw all these skeletons, bones, and skulls and femurs stacked neatly, many times into kind of an artistic design. They tried to make them appealing, not just throw them in there. And over 6 million people, Parisians, ended up being buried down there in the Catacombs of Paris. Well, now, of course, it's a tourist site, and so people visit there. And like I said, I almost didn't go because I didn't think I would be able to, but I made up my mind. I said, no, I'm here. I don't know if I'm ever coming back. Next time I come back, I really might not be able to, so I did it. And I've got a couple of pictures that I can show you. It doesn't do it justice. The pictures are very dark, and I really couldn't get them any lighter. This is not meant to be morbid or anything along that nature. It's just to share with you one of the interesting places in Paris, where there's so many beautiful places, to see, why I picked this one. I think I picked this one because in making this journal and coming up with illustrations, and, most of these illustrations are digitals, I didn't find anything that included the catacombs. And, this journal is, has a lot of whimsical to it, whimsical little drawings like this right here and so forth. It also highlights some of the really important places and beautiful places in Paris, like the Louvre. That's not pronounced correctly, but like the Louvre, where all these hundreds and hundreds of pieces of art are housed and now viewed by visitors from all over the world. And just so phenomenal, so phenomenal. And the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was built for the World's Fair. Man, I don't remember the year. But anyway, it was built for the World's Fair in 18 something. And it was meant to only be a temporary structure because the Parisians did not like it. They thought it was rather ugly on the landscape and they didn't like it. But it stayed and has become, again, a huge tourist attraction. People just began to accept it. And so there you have the Statue of Liberty, which is everywhere. It's in almost every one of these illustrations and can be seen from all over Paris. My daughter and I, the night we went up, it was very cold and windy. It was even raining a little bit because we made this trip in the wintertime, which is probably one of the reasons why we were able to manage to afford to be able to go. So, but it didn't take away from us the delight and the amazing experiences that we had there. So anyway, it was windy that night and raining, and we had to wait in line. And the cars that you get, they're like elevator cars. They pack it so full of people. In the first place, you wonder if you're actually going to make it to the top. But actually, I think the very top was closed. I don't remember if it was for repair, construction, or because of the weather. So we went as far up as we could go, which was pretty doggone high, let me tell you. And it was so beautiful to look out over the lights of Paris everywhere. I mean, you could just see so far. And it was cold and windy, yes, and it was raining at times, drizzling, but the stars, and it was just so beautiful. And when you looked at the Eiffel Tower as you stood back from it and saw it at a distance, it was so beautiful with all the lights on it and lit up. I can't express how delighted I was to see these things and to cherish those memories. They were so beautiful. So these pictures of the catacombs are not the best pictures, and I couldn't find that many, but I'm going to share them with you, like I said, not because I'm trying to be morbid or anything, just because it's very, very interesting and has a very old history and was done, again, not to be morbid or disrespect the dead. They were trying to respect the dead while respecting their living citizens as well. Oftentimes they did put these bones in here and form them in some sort of a artistic fashion to make them more appealing. So anyway, these are two pictures that I could find. As you can see, it's very dark, and you just have rows of bones just stacked up on one another, and then the skulls, and then more bones, and then the skulls. And this is a little bit better lit picture with columns. You have columns here. It's a kind of a beautiful walkway you go through. But this is like slate for the walking area, and then just all of these skulls just stacked. It was an amazing sight, just absolutely amazing. And when you consider why and how it was done, it makes it even more so because they were kind of trying to find a solution to a very real problem. And this is what they did, and it ended up being a very good solution because it saved the lives of a lot of living Parisian citizens and still helped them to be able to respect their dead and bury them in some sort of a dignified way without their bodies surfacing out of these graves that were poorly dug and so forth. So anyway, this is the Catacombs of Paris. I made journaling cards out of these, and I will add them to my journal. It's not a beautiful site, for sure, but it's a very interesting site. And like I said, once you know the purpose and the history of it, it puts a different perspective on it. And let me tell you, when I got to the end, at the end, there's no slow incline. You have to walk up stairs and stairs. I'm not even sure how many flights it was considered. I was just trying to make it to the top. And I did. I made it. I was so proud of myself. I made it and sat down and took a deep breath, and wow, I did that. And when I look back on it now, I think, man, I'm so glad I did that. So anyway, that was one of our experiences in Paris. That was a very real experience. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you didn't, well, I'm sorry. I hope you can fast forward. Again, it's always your prerogative. You know, it's a matter of personal choice and taste, and I don't want to offend anybody's sensibilities. Believe me, that was not my intention at all. So anyway, that was one of our experiences on our trip. Wasn't our first, because we'd come back to Paris after going through these other countries, and then Paris was going to be the spot where we took off from to go home. So anyway, all right, so what we are going to do today is, my goal is to place some of these pieces into this journal that I've already got made, and then go through these and see what else we can use. I also want to make an envelope so I can put some of the smaller pieces that I'm left with. I like to add an envelope to my journal and stuff it with leftover pieces of fussy cuts or small journaling cards like this, you know, that a person could use to write on, or perhaps decorate some of the pages themselves, because certainly not every page in this journal is going to be decorated. So this is my second flip out. I may not need this, but I will save it. All right, so we need to find a home for this lady. This is our little secret writing pad hidden away. See, when this comes together like this, and then you just pull it apart and you have a little pad of paper there to write on. So where do we want to put her? Can we find a page that has some green on it maybe? I don't know. Oh, we might be able to put her here. And here, this is a nice big tuck spot. There's some green down here. So we're going to put her there. Then we have this tag that I'm surprised I don't have a place for already. I am loving these interactive pieces in my journals. I just think they are so much fun, and add a little touch of fun, playfulness maybe, if you want to call it that. Oh, maybe this big tag can go here. This is a nice big journaling spot. I didn't back it. It's white. I didn't back it with anything else, but okay, what else do we have here? This is another, we'll take care of these journaling cards. Some of the pages that I didn't use, for one reason or another, I cut down and made big journaling cards out of them. I like not only to put in the interactive places elements, but I also like to make sure that there is plenty of journaling space. I don't want to do anything that would take away from the journaling space. So these are the little cards that were inspired by ink paper art. These are her photos on here. So did I make two? I thought I made 3 of them, but I'm only finding 2. All right, so we need a couple of pockets to put these little girlies into. I love to use these photographs when I'm making things. Oh, there's the third one, right on top of each other. Let's see, what else do I have? I need to put a topper on that. So you know, we're almost done with this journal to be in reality. Once all the pockets are stuffed and all the tags are topped, I do want to make, like I said, the envelope. I made one, but I wasn't happy with it. I don't know why it came out so long and skinny, because I wasn't paying attention, I guess. But I'll use that paper for collage or whatever, but I'm going to make another one. An envelope that makes a little bit more sense. So if I don't talk a lot, please forgive me. I watched my little granddaughter yesterday again, and oh, every day, every bit of time that I spend with her is such a joy to me. I can't even really say it any other way. And oh, here's a journaling card. Probably don't need that. Okay, so here's my fold out. And I really kind of wanted to put another image on the back of this. And I still could before we're all said and done, but I'm going to go ahead and find it a home anyway. I do have to kind of tell you a funny story, though, that about my daughter and I, our last little bit of time in Paris. Well, we were getting ready to go home. Here's a little tiny envelope. And my daughter and I, oh, we did a very foolish thing, and we know we did now, looking back on it. It was most foolish. But we didn't give it a lot of thought at the time. We just did it. So we went to some of these touristy kind of places, like we visited the concentration camp in Germany, not Auschwitz, but oh gosh, it just went right out of my head. I'm so sorry. We visited there, and we there's a store there that sold items from Israel. So, oh, we were all about that, let me tell you, and we wanted to take some things home for my family. So we bought all this stuff. We bought a ton of books. I mean, a ton of books. Now, why we did that, again, we still are baffled by it to this day, because we could have bought all those books on Amazon and probably at a much cheaper price. But we weren't thinking about that at the time. We just purchased all these books, not giving any thought to how we were going to get them back to the United States. And so the night that we were packing to go back, of course, then we had been to Versailles, and we bought a bunch of books from there. I mean, we wanted them to share with our family, and, you know, to decorate the house with, and all that good stuff that you do, you know. And this needs a topper, and I think it needs some writing paper inside it. No, this isn't the one. It needs some to decorate the house. Well, now we were faced with the task of packing all this up, and I should say my daughter had the task of packing it all up. because she's the best at that. So unfortunately it fell on her. But after she got well into it, she called me. She said, Mom, we've got a problem here. We had already purchased one extra suitcase that we knew we were going to need. And I took this. I don't like the way it copied so much, but I love this. I think it's some sort of an advertisement from either a haberdashery, or that's kind of what it looks like to me. And I thought it was so interesting, but it's way too large to go into my journal, and I really didn't want to fold it up or cut it up. So I just resized it, and the colors didn't come out quite as nice. But you still get the gist of it, and it's too wide for there. She says, Mom, we got a problem. Houston, we've got a problem. So I went to see what she was doing, because I was in the other room. I need a tuck spot is what I need. And she says, this stuff is not going to fit in these suitcases, Mom. We gotta get another suitcase. Now, mind you, it was Sunday night, and it was, by this time at least, 8:30, 8:45. And I said to my daughter, I said, you know, you can do this. I know you can. You're the best at this. You'll figure it out. She says, no, Mom, I'm not going to figure it out. She says, there's nothing to be figured out. We've got too much. And it's not going to fit in these. Here, maybe put it right here. It's not going to fit into these suitcases. So she says, we're gonna have to go get another suitcase. Well, I'm kind of the tightwad, if you want to say that term. And I said, Lena, I really don't want to spend the money on another suitcase. She says, Mom, we don't have a choice. So I finally gave in. I said, all right, well, let's go. By now it's well at the 9 o'clock hour on a Sunday night in Paris. So we get ourselves ready, get out of the apartment where we're staying, and these large journeying cars will fit in the front and back pockets. That's why I like to make those a little bit bigger. And we were going to drive there, but my daughter's to this mall. And my daughter, I talked her not into driving, but in us calling it Uber, because she had a great parking place on the street. I said, Lena, we'll never get this parking place back. People are going to be coming in. You know, it was perfect. It was right in front of the building. And so she finally let me talk her into not using that parking space, not giving it up. So we called Uber. Uber came and got us. We went to the mall, and the driver did not think the mall was open because of the late hour. But my daughter said, well, I'm going to go in and see, because we really need a suitcase. And there's this big store in Europe. I don't think it's just in Paris, but I think it's in other cities as well, across Europe. And it's kind of like a, I don't know, a Walmart, or in the Midwest we're familiar with Myers, you know, that kind of a shopping a store that was in this mall. So she said they'll have suitcases there. And she knew that depending on the size of the shopping center would be how big the store would be, and that it was a big shopping center, so we knew that they would probably have them without any problem. I'm just trying to get down to some of the cards. So we my daughter came back and said, yes, somebody told her they were open. So we went in, and she passed this couple that said, oh, and this was an amazing thing. The couple said, oh, we know what you're looking for, and it's at the end on the second or third floor, whatever. Well, by Jiminy, what do you think about that? So when I get to where I'm just putting these kind of cards like this in, I don't give them a lot of attention. Some of them are inked, some of them, oh, that's the same one that's in there. Some of them are inked and some of them are not, but they're really meant for interest and for extra journaling space. So I really don't ink them. Sometimes if I do it beforehand, I'll round the corners and all that. But I might not always do that. So that's just the way I do it. It may not be the right way to do it. And then if I have time, I will go back and try to dress some of those up a little bit. But I don't make it a priority. Which maybe I should. I don't know. I don't. So they told her, well, we know what you want. Just go that way. So we did, and the store was already closing. I mean, they have those gates, and they were pulling them closed, and they let us in, though, because they weren't really that busy, I guess, and they could see. We had our pajamas on. We went to this mall in Paris on a Sunday night with our pajamas on. Can you believe that? Well, we did it. Oh, I've got this big tuck spot here. I keep forgetting that this is a tuck spot. Oh my goodness, I'm neglecting that real estate. So here we go, like a couple of really dumb American tourists. And I'm just going to trim this a little bit so it'll fit in there. And sure enough, they had tons of suitcases. Well, we, as quickly as we could, found a suitcase so we could get out of there, which we did. All was good with the world. We got a suitcase and we're happy with it. And so we're going to head back and pay for it and then call an Uber. Well, let me tell you, getting an Uber to come back for us was a real, it was something else in itself, because I am going to run the corners of this, because they couldn't find us for some reason, and we kept telling them exactly where we were, but for some reason they just couldn't find us. And I think and we were starving, and lo and behold, the exit that we went out of was like a food court with all the American fast food places. I mean, it was amazing. And so we waited and waited and waited. Finally, we ended up, I don't know if we ended up calling a cab or if the Uber finally found us or we found them. And we went ahead and hopped in. He took us back to the apartment where we were staying. And we continued our packing. But if you can imagine that, having all this excess stuff, I need to put a top on this, all this excess stuff that we shouldn't have bought in the first place, but we did, and now we had to get it back to the United States, and we didn't have enough, we did not have enough suitcase space for it. Well, bless her heart, she managed to get it all packed in, and so we were ready to leave the next morning. We didn't want to leave in particular, but we had to. We had brought responsibilities at home. My husband was so good-natured about us going, and we had our animals. I think my son-in-law was working out of town at the time. So I don't know if he was there. I can't remember if he was there when we got home or not. But, you know, people were waiting for us to come home, so we were so early tempted to try to extend our stay. But we couldn't for a lot of reasons. But we sure did have fun. Let me tell you, we laughed so hard and so much. And the suitcase debacle was just like, you know, how else could our trip end other than to have something like that happen to us? And my poor daughter, she was not feeling well. She actually had not been feeling well when we left home. When we left the airport in San Francisco, she was feeling, I don't know, just a little out of it, but she was not letting it bother her or hold her down, let me tell you. So, but by the time we were ready to go home, and she went through all this packing and all the stress of trying to get everything together, the next morning she was really not feeling well, and on the trip home, it was kind of getting worse as we went. So by the time we arrived back home in San Francisco, San Francisco was not our home, but it was close to home. She was in rough shape, and she was sick for several days after that. But mercy sakes, I don't see how two women could have had a better time than we did. You know, we didn't have a lot of money to spend. We didn't get to go everywhere where we would have liked to go, but we certainly did. Get to see a lot and do a lot, and are so thankful for the time we spent there. I think I'm going to do a journal at some place on Venice. We both love Venice. That was one of my favorite places to go to and to be at. Now, where is the one that I need? This one needs a pull top too. Purple. It's too little. That's too little, but it would be good. Yeah, so we, oh gosh, it was so much fun. We went to the house of Anne Frank. When we were there, we visited Beethoven. Oh, we just did it as much as we could do and enjoyed every moment of it. I so want to go back. I really do. I want to go back with my daughter. Maybe both of my daughters at the same time. But we'll see. Time will tell, you know. That's a future goal and want and desire. But you know, you got to have some of those kind of things in your life, because without them, you know, we just drift from day to day, and we lose. It's going to be too tall and too wide. We have to live with some hopes and some dreams and some goals. some of the things that make life so fun, so much fun to live. Even if we don't attain those things, as long as we're realistic about it, you know, and don't let ourselves get all upset over it, then it's all good. So all this is journaling space. All these little cards, they're all blank on the back, and you can just journal away on them to your little heart's content. Now, I do think I have mentioned that I myself am not a journaler. I have tried on many occasions throughout my life, and I just have been unable to kind of stick to it, I guess. But that's one of the things I like about what now is my glue book. I thought these were really pretty cards too. All the fashion. I really should trim these down. That's one of the things you think of when you think of Paris is fashion, and they were, and probably are, one of the fashion capitals of the world. Some of the great designers and I don't want that little sliver in my script pal, Maggie. Pay attention. Oh, where can I put these beauties? Look at these beauties. So pretty. Alright, these gals need a spot. I think after I put these ladies in here, I'm going to call this a video. I'm trying to see how long I've been on here. It feels like a long time. But in actual fact, it hasn't been that as long as I thought. It's only been 37 minutes. Alright, so these ladies need a home here. No. But hold on, maybe if we could go in. So as always, I hope you all are having a good day, a happy day, a productive day, are doing something that you enjoy, or are getting things done that you need to get done that might not be so much fun, but you know, that makes you productive. Oh, that's the same one. Ay, ay, ay. Alright, so yeah, I think I'll call this a day. Call this a video. I've got a lot of duplicates here that I didn't realize that I had. Oh, there's more of these ladies. Pretty, pretty. I've got to, oh, here we go. This is, got some space, lots of space. A pretty one right there. I need to, do some finishing touches on a couple of these things still. And, I need to do my topper. I've got it. I don't have all the pieces yet, but what I don't have is easy for me to do. And I need to add some beads. And I do want to put some more lace. I did add a little bit of lace yesterday evening. I used to think that all my pages had to have lace on them, but that's not necessarily the case. Again, it's a personal choice, whatever you enjoy doing. So I just really filled my book full of lace, and sometimes that's very appropriate for a journal and looks so beautiful, but other times it's just not. And but I do want to go through and add some lace to this journal because Paris journal certainly deserves lace. So I'll come back. The next video may or may not be the last one. I think we're that close to being finished with it. And so I will pick out some beads. I will get the rest of my topper together and try to figure out where I want to place some more lace, and then we should be all done. I am still, one of my daughters finally gave me her thoughts on my husband. I'm still going to do that journal in memory of him. I think that's going to be a very special thing for me to work on. Again, it'll bring back so many memories. So anyway, you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you enjoy what you're doing, that you stay safe, and that you will appreciate everything that God has given you. So be blessed, and I will definitely see you in the next video. Bye. Bye-bye, everyone.